don't hate you. We don't care enough about you to hate you. We just see that you're a fool. You make a fool out of yourself virtually every day. That's why we talk about you. We're laughing at you. We're making a mockery of you. You're making a mockery of yourself. It's not hatred. You really should learn to distinguish between those two different emotions because you're receiving one in droves. And it's not hatred. You can act, like you're Beyonce all you want. You're not. And just like her, you can play the victim when you're not. But you're going to have your hands full with people laughing at you because you behave so.
Megyn Kelly's attacks on politicians often go beyond criticism, inflicting lasting damage on their careers. Once celebrated as a promising figure in the Democratic Party, Jasmine Crockett suddenly found herself under Kelly's relentless scrutiny. Kelly didn't just poke fun at Crockett's public image, she dismantled it entirely, leaving her more akin to a reality TV personality than the rising star she once was. What was once seen as a meteoric rise now looks more like a dramatic collapse, and some speculate that Crockett may struggle to fully recover from this blow. At the center of Kelly's critique was what she perceived as Crockett's most significant flaw: mistaking noise for true authority.
She wants to be like a member of the squad. She thinks of herself like an AOC. She talks like, she's from the hood. Meanwhile, she grew up in a nice family. She didn't talk like this 3 years ago. 3 years ago, she sounded like you and I sound in this conversation. Like, I'm really excited to be going to Congress. I can't wait to get started on my new job. And now she's like...
Crockett seemed to believe that the louder she shouted, the more she was winning. But Kelly made it clear, volume isn't a measure of intelligence, and anger doesn't equal authority. She exposed how empty Crockett's so-called firebrand energy really was, and suddenly all the yelling, gesturing, and dramatic posturing looked like smoke without any heat behind it. It was as if someone were pounding their fists on a table while the real conversation was happening across the room. Crockett's biggest misconception, that her voice alone carried power, was shattered in an instant. One moment she seemed untouchable, the next, exposed and vulnerable. Everyone watching saw the theatrics unfold. Kelly's point was stark. Crockett's rise wasn't solely due to talent, which made her fall feel all the more brutal. Her trajectory, as Kelly implied, was propelled as much by a flawed political system as by her own abilities.
Seems to be, from her people. She puts on this image that she understands the Black American struggle. But let's face it, the girl went to private school. She went on to, I don't know what college and law school. She went to, it's like, she's a complete fake.
Yeah.
She's as fake as her eyelashes. She's as fake as her hair. She's as fake as her fingernails. And she is such a mess.
Crockett was propelled into the spotlight not because of earned achievements, but because she fit the narrative her party wanted to promote. In politics, celebrity and visibility often outweigh real accomplishment. Convenience mattered more than capability. Even without demonstrating true leadership or delivering results, she was useful as the loud, ever-ready guard dog who could bark on cue. Kelly quickly pulled back the curtain, exposing a politician more concerned with image than substance. Once the facade fell, the excitement revealed itself as carefully staged, a picture orchestrated by handlers rather than reality. Kelly didn't stop at pointing out Crockett's theatrics. She placed her entire career in context. She linked Crockett to a long line of politicians who confused public service with self-promotion and mistook showmanship for policy. Every moment of arrogance in committee hearings, every calculated sound bite, every eye roll or smile aimed at cameras, Kelly turned it all into ammunition, exposing the artifice and transforming it into a scathing critique. If you're following this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss the latest insights and political drama.
Administration.
Don't tell me to calm down because y'all talk noise and then you're out of control.
He said, Jasmine, what you have to realize is that if you are really going to make change, it's not going to be in the Texas House. He said, you did a great job playing defense, but you have a chance to play offense.
Someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's beach blonde, bad-built butch body.
Meanwhile, you pointed out that her high school look.
Suddenly, Crockett's obsession with being seen felt less like commitment and more like performance. Kelly made sure no one missed the point. This wasn't leadership, it was theater. She framed Crockett as a bargain bin influencer who somehow ended up on Capitol Hill armed with a microphone and attitude rather than a serious lawmaker. Kelly's critique of Crockett's supposed accomplishments only deepened the critique. Plainly put, Crockett's track record is underwhelming. While she excels at generating controversy and capturing media attention, there's little to show for concrete progress in her district. Few laws passed, few solutions implemented. Kelly emphasized that Crockett appears more focused on advancing herself than serving her constituents. It's power dressed up as self-protection, style over substance.
We were having a committee hearing on oversight, and it was really late at night. And I was really irritated because I'm always like, why can't we work normal work hours like regular people, 8 to 5? I don't know what's wrong with Congress that we're always doing crazy things at 9, 10, 11, 2 a.m. under Nancy Pelosi. So we're on the oversight committee, and she is running off her mouth, and I shot at her about her massively huge fake eyelashes.
Yeah, this made news.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I said something along the lines of like, well, you can't read it because of...
Kelly then turned the spotlight on Crockett's reliance on identity politics, one of her most familiar tactics. Crockett often wraps herself in the banners of gender and race, framing any criticism as a personal attack rather than a challenge to her policies or ideas. But Kelly dismantled that tactic in seconds, proving that hiding behind identity doesn't make a weak argument stronger. It only exposes its fragility. With each pointed response, Kelly chipped away at Crockett's defenses, revealing the vulnerable core beneath all the noise and theatrics. Crockett's priorities appeared completely misaligned, and her overall strategy came across as fundamentally flawed. The audience was shown exactly what Kelly intended, not a bold champion of progress, but someone using grievance politics to shield herself while advancing her own agenda. Kelly's critique landed hardest on Crockett's lack of self-control. Unlike other politicians who at least feign expertise, Crockett turns nearly every argument into a personal battle. She becomes visibly upset, reacts with anger, and produces clumsy responses during policy debates. In Washington, this approach is a dead end, effective perhaps for social media clips and viral moments, but disastrous for actual governance.
Your hands full with people laughing at you because you behave so foolishly. And the fact that you're a diva bitch behind the scenes, so much worse. You're not even beloved by your staff. Like, you alienate everyone. The people who know you best don't like you. The people who are just glancing at what you're putting out there publicly don't like you.
Kelly emphasized that Crockett's missteps do more than slow progress. They damage her reputation outright. A true political heavyweight knows when to act, when to wait, and when to pull back strategically. Crockett, by contrast, makes hasty decisions with no plan, no patience, and no foresight. Kelly made this clear. She portrayed Crockett not as shrewd or calculated, but as reckless and careless. Kelly didn't stop there. She peeled back layer after layer of hypocrisy woven into Crockett's actions. The contrast between the image Crockett promotes and the reality she lives was impossible to ignore. Publicly, Crockett seizes every advantage and criticizes the system. Privately, she keeps every benefit it offers. She speaks of justice and equity, yet when challenged, she mocks, dismisses, or simply retreats. Step by step, Kelly illustrated how Crockett's words rarely match her deeds, highlighting hypocrisy that corrodes credibility faster than almost anything else. And for Crockett, it isn't a one-off mistake. It's the core of her approach. While Crockett thrives on chaos, shouting, and conflict, Kelly moves with precision, systematically exposing every flaw and weakness, leaving no room for illusion.
The Human Rights Campaign. These are the people who run around harassing every business to make sure that they're being pro-LGBTQ and pro-DEI and not doing anything that a Human Rights Campaign finds offensive in any way, shape, or form, unless if you are in a wheelchair and are the governor of Texas, in which case it is fine for Jasmine Crockett to do this to you. Watch.
Because we in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
Kelly illustrates that Crockett's explosive outbursts are less a sign of strength and more a reflection of insecurity. Her relentless need for attention exposes a lack of confidence, and her defensiveness shows an inability to engage in meaningful dialogue. The most damning point, Kelly argues, is that Crockett lacks true courage. She comes across as overwhelmed, unprepared, and powerless. It's like watching someone drown in the very spotlight they longed for. Each attempt to ridicule her critics only highlights the performative nature of her behavior. Kelly then turned her focus to Crockett's obsession with image. Crockett behaves as if she's the CEO of her own personal PR machine rather than a lawmaker. She knows how to assemble a team, engineer the perfect viral moment and turn a soundbite into immediate attention. But Kelly exposed this branding strategy as a trap, a polished mask concealing a shallow foundation. Crockett's brand revolves around outrage and dramatic outbursts, yet Kelly points out that outrage is fleeting. Today's headline-grabbing fury will be tomorrow's forgotten spectacle, a political sugar rush. Intense, short-lived, and ultimately hollow. Kelly also criticized how Crockett handles dissent. Rather than engaging thoughtfully, she attacks those who disagree, spreads misinformation, and prioritizes theatrics over policy. Kelly called this approach toxic, careless, and lazy, a strategy that destroys any chance of building credibility or earning genuine respect. Conflict keeps Crockett in the public eye, which is why she leans into it. But Kelly shows how the same behavior undermines her, making her appear chaotic and ineffective. After all, a wrecking ball that swings without direction loses all perceived power.
Has some more on Ms. Crockett. He's Benny Johnson. He's host of The Benny Show, and he has an exclusive report now on Crockett's alleged background. See, he traveled to where Crockett claims she is from a tough area of South Dallas. You know, you hear her speak. She tries to talk street, like, okay. Compared to where she's actually from, it's quite a different picture. Where she's actually from is a beautiful, well-manicured area for the elite.
Kelly reframed the narrative to show that Crockett's so-called strengths were actually weaknesses. Her supporters praised her fiery temper, but Kelly called it outright immaturity. What Crockett framed as fearlessness was, in reality, carelessness. Her rebellious persona, Kelly revealed, was little more than insecurity disguised as confidence. Kelly didn't just mock Crockett, she dismantled the polished image Crockett worked so hard to maintain, replacing it with a raw, unfiltered reality that most viewers had never seen. The brilliance of Kelly's critique lies in its simplicity. She cut through all the noise, rage, and theatrics to expose the person underneath. Calm, precise, and unshaken, Kelly deconstructed each of Crockett's actions, one by one, as Crockett flailed for attention. Her critique resonated far more powerfully than Crockett's own performance. By the time Kelly finished, the audience was left not impressed but embarrassed for Crockett. The rising star, once celebrated, now seemed diminished. Under the scrutiny of Kelly's spotlight, there was nowhere to hide. No charisma, theatrics, or youthful inexperience could mask the truth. Beneath it all, Kelly revealed an ordinary politician lacking the moral fortitude and self-discipline necessary to be taken seriously. In Washington, where image often matters as much as policy, such exposure is devastating. Crockett may have once aimed to become the next big thing, but after Kelly's dissection, she appeared more like a fleeting shooting star, dazzling for a moment, then gone before anyone could even make a wish.
Him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey.
I gotta check my woke rule book, Walter, but I'm not sure I don't think that's allowed. I do not think you refer to the guy who's in a wheelchair as the governor of your state as Governor Hot Wheels. Some of her defenders online are like, we all call him that down here. And as far as I can tell, it's only nasty leftists who do. Not sure that.
Since Crockett's career relied more on personality than tangible accomplishments, Kelly's takedown could be particularly devastating. A little charisma might carry someone through a few flashy TV spots or viral sound bites, but it won't sustain a political career. And Kelly exposed that truth without hesitation. She stripped away the theatrics, leaving Crockett with nothing but the dull, unremarkable record she had long tried to conceal. That's the harsh reality of political exposure. Once the illusion is shattered, it can't be repaired. Kelly stressed that once an act is revealed, it's irreversible. Opponents, colleagues, and even the media begin to question your credibility. The thrill fades, replaced by eye rolls and whispered doubts about whether you ever had substance. Kelly's critique went beyond mere commentary. It validated the suspicions of many who had been too cautious to speak out. It was a classic emperor has no clothes moment in politics, a revelation that sticks long after the initial shock fades, becoming the headline everyone remembers. Kelly didn't just criticize Crockett, she redefined her political image. The ambitious, audacious upstart challenging the status quo is gone, replaced by a flamboyant brand destined to fade among countless forgettable figures. The lesson is clear. Without real substance, a star may shine briefly, but it burns out far faster than it ever rises.
Instead of someone who dumbs themselves down or lies about where they come from to try to be more hood.
Yes, that's what she's doing all the time. And she didn't talk like this before either, where she's like, y'all, I know my homie, and I'm like, okay, that didn't exist. We ran tape from her before she ran for office. She sounded like a normal person, but now she's gone full street with the super long nails too, and like the lips and the gloss and like the eyelashes. She's really laying it on because she wants to be seen as like this down home.
Now, Crockett's critics have all the ammunition they need. Even those who once gave her the benefit of the doubt will begin scrutinizing her every move, and her supporters may start questioning her judgment. In the unforgiving world of politics, this shift in perception is lethal and rarely reversible. Washington thrives on whispers in hallways and rumors behind closed doors, and Kelly's takedown doesn't just make headlines, it seeps into every private conversation. Every future misstep Crockett makes will be measured against Kelly's critique, reinforcing the perception that she is unprepared, careless, and incapable of meeting her own ambitions. It becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. Opportunities vanish before they even reach her, doors close, and alliances weaken when the Capitol believes you aren't serious. That's precisely where Crockett stands now, trapped in the dangerous intersection of aspiration and reality. If she pushes harder, she risks appearing desperate. If she retreats, she looks defeated and dejected. There is no graceful exit, no safe maneuver. That's what makes Kelly's dismantling so devastating. The brilliance of the critique lies not just in its sharpness, but in the trap it sets, leaving Crockett exposed, without room to maneuver, without a way to spin the narrative, and without any viable escape.
She's not reaching across the aisle to that.
No, not at all. Well, she's not a real person. So some interesting things that I've always observed about her is how she treats her staff. She treats her staff like they are just beneath her.
I read that in the New York Post. Can you confirm?
Yes.
Wow.
So she always has, one of her young male staffers has to carry her big, heavy handbag for her. She just hands it off.
Crockett's very efforts to escape the narrative Kelly constructed only reinforce Kelly's point, and that's where the true cruelty lies. Kelly's critique doesn't just attack Crockett, it defines her. In the ruthless world of politics, once a story takes hold, it's nearly impossible to reverse. Kelly has transformed Crockett's tale into something unmistakably compelling, a politician undone by immaturity, exposed by a skilled dismantler of facades, and built more on hype than substance. By scorching Crockett publicly, Kelly may have permanently reshaped how the public sees her, as a lightweight pretending to be a heavyweight. And for a politician who thrives on attention, this is the harshest cut of all. The very spotlight Crockett sought to use as a platform has become the source of her downfall. She entered the limelight craving admiration, yet emerged as a cautionary tale rather than a celebrated bold voice with lasting influence. Momentum is critical in politics, but when it turns against you, the consequences can be devastating, and recovery is nearly impossible. Kelly didn't merely mock Crockett, she shifted the entire trajectory of her public perception. Now, Crockett fights not only to maintain credibility, but simply to survive politically. The lesson is clear: noise and spectacle alone do not create real stars. True respect comes when someone proves they are more than flash and fury.
Work for the American people. And what we not gonna do is stand around while they pull this bullshit that they trying to pull right now.
Like, what? What do you, we have videotape. Why are you talking like that? No one believes this book. And now she's graduated to acting like a thug. So congratulations, your term in the U.S. Congress is going really well.
And that is Crockett's fatal flaw. Before she could mount any defense, Kelly exposed her. The brand is tarnished, the image cracked, and whispers are already circulating through Washington's halls. From now on, Crockett's early promise won't be what people remember in backroom discussions. It will be Megyn Kelly's deliberate surgical takedown. This wasn't just a momentary sting, it's a career-defining scar. Kelly's roast continues to resonate. The narrative has shifted completely, and that shift may mark the slow, painful start of Crockett's decline rather than the beginning of her rise. If you want more in-depth political analysis and drama like this, don't miss a moment. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. We bring you daily insights on the world of politics. To stay connected and catch the next deep dive on public dissent, like, share, and comment below.